The HOA meeting was a circus, and Karen was the ringmaster, her voice a nasal whip cracking over the crowd. She waddled to the podium, her floral muumuu straining, and declared my trash bin placement a crime against community standards. Her sister, Darlene, equally hefty and twice as smug, nodded like a bobblehead, her beady eyes scanning the room for dissenters. I sat in the back, biting my tongue, my face burning as neighbors whispered. My bins were 2 inches off the curb, 2 inches. Yet here was Karen, queen of the cul-de-sac, wielding her HOA rulebook like a scepter, fining me $200 for aesthetic negligence. The room swallowed her sermon whole, and I was the village idiot, sentenced without trial. My name's Jake, and I'm no saint. I've lived in Pinewood Estates for 3 years, keeping my head down, mowing my lawn, and tossing my trash like a good neighbor. But the Karen sisters, Karen and Darlene, self-appointed guardians of our subdivision, had it out for me since I painted my mailbox blue. Unapproved hue. They'd barked in a certified letter. Now, this bin fiasco was their latest crusade. I paid the fine, but my blood simmered. Karen's smug grin as she handed me the citation, her chins wobbling with glee, lit a fuse in me. I wasn't just going to roll over. Not this time. The sisters ran the HOA like a dictatorship, their rules petty but ironclad. Karen, the louder one, loved public shaming, calling out violators at meetings, her voice dripping with superiority. Darlene was quieter, the brains behind the operation, drafting fines and snitching on anyone who dared plant a non-regulation shrub. They lived together in a beige McMansion, their lawn manicured to surgical precision, their Christmas lights so blinding they could guide ships. Meanwhile, my modest split level, with its slightly crooked wreaths, was their favorite target. The bin fine was just the latest jab in a year-long war. I stewed for days, replaying Karen's lecture in my head. "Standards, Jake," she'd said, jabbing a sausage-like finger at me. "You're dragging us all down." Dragging them down. I'd seen her toss fast food wrappers from her SUV, littering the very street she policed. Hypocrisy wasn't just her hobby, it was her brand. Then, inspiration struck, sharp and sweet, while I sipped coffee and stared at my bins. The holidays were coming, and Pinewood Estates loved its Christmas cheer. If Karen wanted to play trash police, I'd give her a spectacle she'd never forget. I called my buddy Mike, who owned a junk removal business. "You still got that old dumpster?" I asked. He laughed when I explained my plan, his voice crackling through the phone. "You're nuts, Jake, but I'm in." We spent a weekend gathering supplies. Tangled Christmas lights, broken ornaments, faded tinsel, and yards of garland past its prime. Local thrift stores were dumping holiday junk, and I bought it all for pennies. My garage became a glittering landfill, every corner stuffed with festive debris. The plan was simple. Deliver a gift to the Karen sisters, a monument to their trash obsession, right on their pristine lawn. The night before the big reveal, I couldn't sleep. My heart raced, half with excitement, half with dread. What if this backfired? What if I got arrested? But the image of Karen's smug face, her rules strangling the neighborhood, kept me going. At 3 a.m., Mike and I loaded the dumpster onto his flatbed truck. It was a rusty beast, 10 feet long, overflowing with holiday chaos, lights dangling like vines, ornaments glinting under the moon. We drove to the sisters' house, the streets silent except for the hum of our engine. Their lawn glowed with perfect decorations, a smug shrine to their control. We parked, lowered the dumpster, and bolted. My hands shook as I left a handwritten note taped to the side. "Happy holidays, Karen and Darlene. Enjoy the cheer." Dawn broke, and the neighborhood exploded. I watched from my porch, coffee in hand, as Karen stormed out in a robe, her face redder than Rudolph's nose. Darlene followed, clutching her phone, already dialing. Neighbors gathered, some laughing, others gasping at the audacity. The dumpster squatted like a festive troll, its contents spilling onto their grass tinsel, baubles, and a chipped Santa statue grinning up at the sky. Karen's scream could have shattered glass. "Who did this?" she shrieked, kicking a strand of lights. Darlene, usually composed, looked ready to combust. I sipped my coffee, feigning innocence, as whispers spread. "It's gotta be Jake," someone muttered. I didn't care. The look on Karen's face was worth every penny of that fine. The HOA called an emergency meeting that evening. Karen, still fuming, took the podium, her muumuu swapped for a pantsuit that barely contained her rage. "This is vandalism," she bellowed, pointing at a photo of the dumpster projected on the wall. "A deliberate attack on our community." Darlene, pale and twitchy, handed out flyers listing HOA bylaws, circling the one about unauthorized structures. I sat quietly, my heart pounding, as neighbors debated. Some called it hilarious, others an eyesore. Then Mrs. Patel, a soft-spoken widow who'd been fined for her grandkids' chalk drawings, stood up. "Karen, you fined me $50 for chalk. Maybe this is karma." The room erupted in murmurs. Karen's jaw dropped, her authority cracking like thin ice. The police arrived the next day, summoned by Darlene's frantic call. Officer Ramirez, a no-nonsense guy who'd dealt with Karen's complaints before, surveyed the dumpster. "It's on public property," he said, shrugging. "Technically, no laws broken." Karen's face went purple. "Public property?" she sputtered. "It's ruining my lawn." Ramirez raised an eyebrow. "Then move it. Or call waste management. Your choice." The crowd stifled laughs as Karen stomped off, Darlene trailing like a deflated balloon. The dumpster stayed, a glittering middle finger to their reign. Word spread fast. By noon, kids were snapping selfies with the Christmas dumpster, as they called it. A local news van showed up, filming a segment titled HOA Holiday Hijinks. The reporter interviewed neighbors, who spilled years of grievances, fines for untrimmed hedges, banned birdhouses, even a $100 penalty for excessive Halloween pumpkins. Karen and Darlene became the punchline, their names trending on local social media with hashtags like dumpster cheer and Karen karma. I stayed quiet, letting the chaos unfold. Mike texted me a thumbs-up emoji, and I grinned. Phase 1 was complete. But the sisters weren't done. They retaliated with a new rule. No decorative displays exceeding 10 cubic feet. It was clearly aimed at me, though they couldn't prove I was behind the dumpster. I didn't care. The neighborhood was waking up, questioning their power. At the next HOA meeting, attendance tripled. People who'd never spoken Mr. Chun, who'd been fined for his rose bushes. Young Sarah, whose skateboard ramp got a cease and desist, stood up, demanding transparency. Karen tried to gavel them down, but the room was done with her. Darlene's notes, usually meticulous, were a crumpled mess. The sisters were losing their grip. Then came the final blow. The city, tired of Karen's endless complaints, audited the HOA's finances. Turns out, Darlene had been skimming funds, funneling fines into administrative costs that suspiciously matched their new patio furniture. The news hit like a bomb. Neighbors demanded their money back, and the sisters faced legal trouble. Karen's bluster faded. She stopped showing up to meetings. Darlene moved out, reportedly to a condo downtown. The dumpster, now a local legend, was hauled away, but its message lingered. Pinewood Estates held a vote, dissolved the HOA's strictest rules, and elected Mrs. Patel as president. She promptly approved my blue mailbox. I walk my bins out now, placing them wherever I damn well please. The neighborhood feels lighter, the holiday lights brighter without the sisters' shadow. Karen's house is up for sale, its lawn overgrown, a faded for sale sign tilting in the wind. I don't gloat, not openly, but every time I pass, I think of that dumpster, sparkling with tinsel, and smile. Sometimes, justice comes wrapped in holiday cheer. The end.